Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Mortgage Coaches Training Thursday. My name is Lytle, and I'm going to be hosting the beginning half of our training, and then we're going to be having Bryan Mehring coming in, and he'll be showing you the mobile aspect of it. So we'll split this call in two parts. I also, if you're new to GoToMeeting, what I'd like you to do is open up your question area and put any kind of questions that you have along the way in there, and we'll address them as we go through the presentation. I also, as we're going through it, think of questions that you may have, and you can always follow up with them at the end of the call, and we can also address it that way. So today what we're working on is the open house flyer, or open house presentation. So you can see not only do we have the mobile device on this iPad, and as soon as we click I understand, you'll be able to see the presentation. We also have it on the desktop, so you can see it there as well. So with this, what we're going to do is show you how to build an open house presentation, and then on the second half of the call, we'll show you how you can position this with your partners and be able to use the mobile as well as record on the mobile. So with that, let me go ahead and move the mobile aspect off to the side. And then before we start into the open house and creating this presentation, I just want to be able to point out a couple items for you. So if you look in the handout section and GoToMeeting, just open up that area, and we have quite a few PDFs for you. So one of them is a Getting Started PDF. And when we go into Edge, I'll show you these items. But this is a great piece if you're new to Mortgage Coach. What this will do is provide you just the basics of getting started. How to log in, making sure your contact information is correct, images, discusses the product and fee templates, as well as other items within the settings tab in Mortgage Coach. So I want to be able to point this out. It's a great place to be able to walk through it slowly. So that is in your handout section in the GoToMeeting. And then Bryan's going to cover a couple more of those handouts later in the call. We'll talk about the video user guide, and then also our handout that will talk about the Mortgage Coach conversation as well as a video checklist. So we'll review these more so at the end of the call. But this handout is getting started. Again, if you're new, this is the process where we're going to start today. We're just going to look at our settings, and then we're going to dive into the open house presentation. So if you haven't, log into your Edge account. And if you're unsure of your login ID or your password, go ahead and email us at support@mortgagecoach.com, and we can get that information to you. So there's two buttons I want to be able to point out. First of all, there's a help button. So if you click on help, you can see how it brings you to our knowledge base where we have many video tutorials here, as well as a search engine. So say if I put in open house and want to be able to see any videos around that. If I do that and do a search, you can see how collecting data, how to create an open house presentation, how to add an image to that presentation as well. So you have quite a few different either frequently asked questions or video tutorials that you'll be able to use for that open house. So with that, let's go back to Edge. And I want to point out the other one is the settings. And this is where you'll be able to, with that Getting Started PDF, this is the tabs it's focused on. So you can see the first one is the contact information. And you want to make sure all your contact information is correct in here, including your address. So the other item I want to point out is your licensing number. Make sure you have an identifier in front of the number. And the reason for it, if you only have the number, that is what will display. And partners and borrowers need to know what that number represents. So make sure you have your identifier in front of that. And then always press save. Okay, just a moment. Looks like my screen's not showing. Okay, just one moment. Okay, everyone, I think you can see my screen now. So let me just do a quick review of what I went through without showing you. So let's go back. And if someone can just put in the chat area or in the question area that you can see my screen, and I'm going to go ahead and proceed. So if you could do that for me. Perfect. Great. Thanks, Taffy. Okay, so with the couple items that we were discussing that you were unable to see is, first of all, in the handouts area, this is that getting started PDF. So with that, here's your table of contents, how we're talking about logging in, your contact information, and the different tabs in the settings area. And this PDF will be able to walk you through those different steps and setting up your Edge account. So that's one of the handouts, and then Bryan's going to cover the other two. We have another one about the video user guide, so when Bryan starts covering the mobile, he'll be able to discuss this one with you. And the other handout is about Mortgage Coach Conversations, as well as the video checklist. And again, Bryan will go ahead and cover that during the mobile piece. So now that we're going back to, here's our presentation we're going to create. You still can't see it, Jennifer. And Taffy can. I'm not quite sure why you can't see the screen. So, yeah. So yeah, actually, just log off and log back in. Albert can see it, and Taffy's looking good. So, yeah, Jennifer, why don't you go ahead and try that? We're also recording this call, so we'll be able to, you'll have that too as a backup. But definitely just log out and come back in. So with it, we're doing an open house presentation, and we're going to provide you information on the mobile, so you'll be able to have this at an open house, be able to work with your partners on it. So this is the particular open house presentation. So now let's go into Edge. And what I had done before, I was talking about the settings up at the top as well as the help button. So when you click the help button, it brings you to our knowledge base. And what I wanted to point out is our search, and I typed in the word open house, and you can see how it brings up all the frequently asked questions or video tutorials surrounding the open house presentation. So this is a great place to be able to find out more information, especially in the evening or on the weekends when our support team is closed. So now let's go back to Edge, and let's go into settings. So this is where that getting started PDF comes in handy. These are the tabs that it's referencing, is right here. As I mentioned before, contact information, just make sure it's updated and make sure your license number does have an identifier in front of it. Anytime you make any changes, always press the Save button. And if you have any gray fields here that are need any kind of changing, it's because your company has locked those fields down. So just email us at support and we'll be able to assist you in modifying that data. The next tab is your image tab. This is where you want to make sure your logo has been placed. If you're on an enterprise account, most likely you do have your logo already uploaded for you. And we're getting a lot of presentations coming through the support department, and people haven't been uploading their images. So make sure you upload that image in here, and all you have to do is click on Browse and find it on your desktop, or if you have it at some particular place. So it's really easy just to upload both those pieces. Your presentation will be more complete, so definitely get that going. We also have feed templates as well as a product template tab. Last Thursday's QA, we did go into feed templates and product templates in greater detail, so if you want more information, you can look on our coaching call page and find last week's webinar. Report templates. We have, this is the disclosure information. So if I go to the open house flyer, you can see this disclosure text. This is when you have the presentation. Let's go ahead and go over to it. In the lower right-hand corner, we do have a disclosure. That's where the disclosure button is. So if you wanted to see that language again, you'll be able to just click on that disclosure button. And that information is contained within the report templates. And again, if this area is grayed out, it's because your company has placed language in there for you and it has been locked down. This is what your company wants to see on the presentations. So if there's no questions on settings, we're going to go ahead and dive into our open house presentation. So you can see on the home screen you have two sections on Edge. So you have the upper area, which is your client-facing reports. That's your TCA, your rent versus own. The lower area is your partner-facing reports. These are the open house presentation as well as your seller buy-down. We're going to discuss this presentation here for Greg Orlando, and he's with Windermere. But before we dive into the presentation itself, let me show you a couple items through the View All button. If you click on View All, you can sort down the borrower's name further for to have your search more narrow. Can't speak today. And you can see how when you bring it over, it will list all the open house presentations. And you can see how I'm clicking on the gray arrows, and it shows you all the different presentations created for that particular realtor. You'll notice if you highlight that the presentation, you have options over on the right-hand side. So when you've created a presentation once for a realtor, you don't want to upload the picture again or their logo, their contact information. So this is why you want to come into the View All, because you'll be able to copy that analysis rather quickly. So it won't allow you, you won't have to upload those pictures or contact information again. So to do it, you would just click Copy Analysis. So say you wanted to go into the current partners and create another properties presentation. So this is what you would press OK, and then it will take all that client current partner or that product and copy it over to your new presentation. If you click on New Partner, it will take all the products from that presentation and it will copy it into a new report, and it will strip off the realtor's information so you could start a new partner. So that's the distinction between those two. If you want to do a copy without products, you just click Add Analysis, and that takes all the realtor's information, copies it to a brand new file, but it doesn't have any product or property information. So this is a quick way to start fresh with a realtor. Just find out who your realtor is and click on Add Analysis. It's that quick. So that's how you'll be able to create multiple reports going forward. So now let's start about going through our open house presentation now. So I'm going to press Close here. To start the presentation, you would want to click on New Partner, and that will start an open house presentation or a seller buy down. When you click on New Client, it does the TCA and the rent versus own. So I'm going to start with a file I already have created. So I'll click on Greg's Orlando's file. So you can see here when you start that as a new partner, this screen would be empty, and you would just fill out the information of your realtor. So you can see how you put in information, and it's very important that you put this friendly name field in. And the reason for it, as you create multiple reports for Greg, you want to know which open house presentation it is. And the best way of doing that is just putting the street address in your friendly name field. So that is a reference. So when you do that search and copy, you saw the addresses there with the date and time. This is where it comes from, is that friendly name field. And it's very important with a partner. So always make sure you put those in there. As we move to the next screen, you just grab the information on the property. So just go ahead and put on the street, city, state, zip code. You can see we're doing a property in Southern California in Coto de Caza. Now as we advance, it's gathering more details about the property. We're placed in the asking price, expensive home, square footage, number of bedrooms, number of baths, and you can also place in that link to the home as well into this field. Next, you have more features. So in the more features, this is where you want to go ahead and mark all the items that pertain to the home. So you can see how we marked out quite a bit. It's a single family home. It has land, hardwood floors, 3 or more garage. And then you can see at the very base, we do have custom areas to add additional items. So if you don't see your items above, you could go ahead and place that custom name of, you could describe schools, certain things in the area, or as in this case, different type of flooring, countertops, barbecue. So you can see how we went ahead and added those items in here, plus all those items above. and then you press OK. Once you're done with that, if you advance your screen, we want to upload your images now. So a lot of times you get this information either off the HBM or say Zillow. You grab their picture, just download it to your desktop, and you would just go ahead and browse, find that image, and upload it. And I do want to point out sometimes these images are quite large and they might not save. So I just want to point that out, and if it ever comes to that, email us at support. We'll be able to resize it real quick for you and send it back. There are options for additional images that you could place in here. Only one currently places on the open house presentation, but we do have an option to do a seller buy down as well with the same data, and you can always put a second image on that seller buy down if you're using that presentation. So with that, we're going to go ahead and advance the screen again, and now we're getting to our products. This is a high-end property, and a lot of times with over $1 million you see those ARM products. So I want to be able to show you how an ARM product is keyed in on this presentation. You can see how we place the purchase price in here, 20% down, the interest rate, and the term. And you have to make sure you mark loan type as ARM. When you mark it as an ARM product, when you advance the screen, this comes to the ARM data. So you can see my first adjustment's only 2%. I'm adjusting at 5 years, 2% thereafter. I adjust after that 5-year mark, 12 months thereafter. I have my ceiling, my margin percentage, and you have the index percentage. If you look in the drop down, we have many indices that you could pick from, and then I'm choosing the 1-year LIBOR. You can see how we have the index percentage already populated for you, so you don't have to look that up. If you have a floor percentage, you could go ahead and key in that. Just want to point out scenario worst and best. We're going to show worst case, which means that with the worst case, it will automatically make your adjustments to the first adjustment cap, and it will go all the way to the ceiling. Best case just takes it to the fully index rate. And let's change it here. It changes the description and then stops that adjustment. I'll show you in one of our products. We'll copy this over and we'll show you a best and worst case, and that also shows you how to copy a product as well. So with that, we're going to move on, and we have our fee details. You can see that I have a negative point in here as a rebate. If you hover your mouse over that, you can see the dollar amount. Let's go ahead and place in 15 days prepaid interest, and let's just take a look at our fees real quick. So you can see all the different fees that are listed in here, and if you haven't, definitely develop fee templates. Fee templates will help you just move a lot quicker in developing a product and getting in and out of Edge a lot easier. So with that, we went ahead to have the costs. And then we have our hazard insurance, property tax, 20% down, so we have no MI. We also have HOA dues, so we went ahead and placed $250 in that as well. If you want to be able to show reserves, you could go ahead and put in 2 months reserves, 4 months for taxes, as well as collecting a 12-month premium. So we're done with our 5-1 ARM product, so now let's move to our 30-year fixed product. So on the 30-year fixed product, same information, we just put all that interest rate would be different, term. And then it's just a basic, you notice the loan type is left as fixed. But then we have all the information here, all your fees. And again, if the product is different on the fixed rate, you would just go in, select your fee templates, and choose your fee template for a fixed rate loan. Moving on to the monthly cost, you can see how all the information is the same. And in our 4th product, I'll show you how to copy so it can make items like keying in this data easier for you. So now what we did is we have the 5-1 and the 30-year, but we just wanted to show you a difference. So we also included a 15-year product here. So with a 15-year product, it's actually quite easy to do. All you would need to do is use this copy from button, and you can copy from that 30-year fixed product. So when you do that, it will carry all the product over for you, and we'll show you in just a moment with our best case for our arm. And then you would just change your interest rate, your term, and then when you go into your fee screens, if there's anything different in your fees, you would go ahead and make those adjustments. So you could go ahead and add that information in. And then again, lastly, we have our different monthly costs. So if on the third product and all the brand new products, you would see a green button right at the bottom right. That will allow you to add a new product. We have already clicked that button, so when you see when we go to our fourth product, it is completely empty. So let's go ahead and put in the best case 5-1 arm scenario. So I'm going to put in 5-1. Let's find my slash. There we go. Arm. And then I'm just putting the word best. So the easiest way when you come into Edge is to use that copy from button. So I am going to copy from my 5-1 arm, and I press OK, and you can see how all that data carried over for me. So I don't have to key that in again. So when I advance the screen, I come to my arm terms, and this time the only thing I want to do is change it from worst to best. And with that, I'm done with that screen, and I do all my fees carried over as well as my monthly cost. So that's when you're going into Edge and start working with it, there's little tools like that copy from button that will really save you time moving through creating a presentation. So not only is it your fee and product templates, that copy from is also a very powerful tool once you start using it. So next we have our analysis summary. Have all that rough information right here laid out for you. And now the contact information. This is the information that you want to key in for your realtor. So you can see I'm using a company out in Laguna Niguel, Windermere Real Estate. I placed all their information in here, and then if I advance my screen, this is where you put in their logo and their headshot. So this is where you just filled out all that contact information for your realtor, and you only have to do it once. So remember, any new presentations for this realtor, just use that copy from or add analysis so you don't have to enter this information anymore. Moving on, I want to be able to point out we're doing the open house flyer. If you chose seller buy down, you would have the seller buy down presentation. And you'll also notice at the very base we list all our products. You'll see that the 5-1 arm is unmarked. If I check it, now it's going to be part of my presentation. So if you uncheck it, it excludes it from the presentation. So if you want, I can always exclude the 15-year if that wasn't in sync with my other products. So with that, also just want to point out, when you're doing 5-1 arms, best and worst, it's always good to have those two products side by side. So just wanted to point that out as well. So moving on, let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the presentation really quick so I could describe these fields for you. If you go to the presentation at the very top, you can see how we have a label describing that property. So we have that label, and in front of the dollar amount, we have another label. You could put offered at, listing price, whatever you want to do to describe that dollar amount. And then lastly, we have payment notes. So you can see at the very middle of the area, I'm highlighting it right now. This is to place something like estimated taxes and insurance are included in your payment. So with that, you'll be able to place it here, but you also have a little bit more room to add any kind of additional language here if you wanted to. To do these three areas, it is in our presentation screen. And to get to this screen rather quickly, hover your mouse over presentation. If you click on select report and advance the screen. Not me. So with that, so this is where you could go ahead and put in the presentation title. So this is where I did it. A lot of times when you have those items on Zillow, they'll have a descriptor that you can use. Offered out pricing label, offered out sales price. Go ahead and put that amount. And here's that area for your payment notes. So this is where I put in estimated payments include taxes, insurance, and homeowners association.
I remember everything's
Awesome.
so
Just one moment, I need to mute. Okay. I think I got everyone muted. Okay, so with that, you can add additional text. And can someone put in the questionnaire, confirm that I didn't mute myself? So if someone could still let me know. Add additional notes. Perfect, thanks, Taffy. So I want to place this in here, add additional notes. So you'll be able to see how you can add additional notes and where it'll place on that presentation. So with that, let's advance our screen. Also, you always have to select property image. So when you come to the screen, you'll see that it's blank. Decide which picture you would like to show on that presentation. Select it, and then you can move onward. So with that, you're done with the presentation, and now let's do make sure you do a quote date, and then you could do a preview. And Bryan has a part of the video. So this is the presentation. You can see where I added additional notes in that payment note area, so you can see how you can do that. Just one moment, I have a question, Albert. Okay, yeah, for the PDF, what you would need to do, okay, so you have your open house presentation, and in a few minutes, Bryan's going to take over and show you how to present the presentation through the mobile device. A lot of people do, working in support, a lot of people do print out these open house flyers, and you could do so by clicking on print, and it will come up shortly. And what you could do is you could print it, but the whole point with Mortgage Coach Edge, it's the link and it's the mobile. So yes, you can print these off. They're more of a financial flyer than it is a open house presentation. Provides all your financial information. So you'd be able to print it here and then saving it. Excuse me, you asked for saving it, right? Yeah. You should be able to save it like this, and I'm not sure why it would not do it correctly, but I do know, Albert, sometimes when people save, if they save it, they might have a blue bar printing on the edge. It's because you're saving it in a different PDF format. So, you know what, we always suggest, Albert, to use the functions directly from the report because you're going to have a crisper copy. Then Albert's asking in Edge, you have a print and a PDF. And this is also on all our reports. And I always tell people, one, you want to use the link. You don't want to send a hard copy. But if you do, use the email link, and you'll be able to use those buttons at the bottom here. And then I always suggest, again, the borrower and the realtor have the option to save and print as well. So when Bryan discusses with you about the mobile device, that might be able to help you provide more details, a different way of presenting this presentation than just with a hard copy. So I hope I answered that question for you, Albert, and if not, just let me know. So with this information, what I am going to do now is turn this over to Bryan, and he's going to walk you through how to not only click on generate link, he's going to walk you through video, and then as well flip over to the mobile and then go over those different handouts. So if you also have any kind of questions when you're creating these, please go ahead and email us at support@mortgagecoach.com and we'll assist you through that process. So Bryan, you want to take over? It's your time. Let's see. Oh yes, Sean, definitely you do want to use that share button. As for, just one moment, Bryan. Sorry about that. Bryan's actually going to show you how you can use the share button with the mobile. That's very easy. But that share button right down here, You can share the link directly to a Facebook or Twitter. You do need to check with your company how they, on their policies on posting to Facebook and Twitter. You do have the option, if you do not see these two buttons when you click share, then your company has chosen to remove these two. But really the share button's really great to be able to do a copy and be able to paste that link in your email. It's a quick way of getting it, and you can technically upload to Facebook or whatnot. But we do have another share feature on the mobile device that Bryan will walk through with. And the other question we had, okay, the PDF, we got that. Okay, Bryan, it's all yours.
Thanks, Lori. That was great in walking everybody through how to build the open house flyer. Now I'd like to take a few moments with you and share with you a couple ways that, of course, you can share this information either by, sending the link off to either your realtor partner or your borrowers via a laptop or a desktop, or also via a mobile device. And one thing to also keep in mind, folks, is this is it's a Thursday Q&A, and we typically provide you with some content, and Lori chose to go ahead and do the open house flyer, but it is a Q&A session too. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to do those factors, but also think about any type of questions that you may have in regards to the content that we covered today, in regards to open house flyers, but any other additional questions that you have regarding using Mortgage Coach or Rate Watch or whatever the case may be. And go ahead and ask those questions, because again, it's an interactive training session. It's our Thursday Q&A, and we encourage you to make sure that you get any questions that you have regarding Mortgage Coach or Rate Watch taken care of. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share with you how to present this information with your realtor partner or your potential buyers. But again, keep in mind any questions that you can have, please go ahead and fire away, and I'll go through the content and we'll make sure that those questions get addressed. So as Lori mentioned at the beginning of the training session, we got a couple of handouts in the chat box, and they're in a PDF file. Don't hesitate to download those. She went over the Getting Started presentation. I'm going to go ahead and click on this presentation. Whoops, that's the Getting Started one. Let me go ahead and click on the user guide for your mobile coach. And one of the things that you're going to have to do, of course, is be able to download the app. And I'm kind of curious. I see that there's quite a few people in the course. Has everybody downloaded the app to their mobile devices yet? If you could type in either yes or no, that would be great, so I can kind of get an idea. Thank you, Taffy. It's good to see you again, Taffy. Sean, yes. Okay, good. Albert, yes. A lot of yeses in there. Good. I love it. Okay, so I'll briefly go over this. There's still either no responses or maybe some no's there, so I'll just cover this real quickly. I'm going to bring over my mobile device, and let me go ahead and get that going. Okay, so here's the open house flyer on an iPad. So I'm going to just back up a little bit here and go to, I'm going to purposely log out here, so go ahead. Oh, I'm already logged out. Perfect. Okay. So when you first download the app, and where do you go to download the app? For those of you that haven't downloaded it yet, let me go ahead and real quickly show you. You're going to go to, this is an iPad, so you would go to the App Store and then simply type in Mortgage Coach. And when you do that, both of these apps should appear, both the Mortgage Coach and then the Rate Watch app. I would highly encourage you to download both, and the reason with Rate Watch is it's going to give you the benefit of being able to get alerts when somebody has viewed your presentation through Rate Watch. I mean, it's a great product as well, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but it's a great way for you to demonstrate you as a mortgage professional have your finger on the pulse of what's going on with the mortgage-backed security market. So take a moment, download both of those. It's real easy. There'll be actually a cloud. I've already downloaded these, so it says open. But there'll be a cloud here. All you have to do is tap on it, and it'll slowly download, and it'll be available for you on your mobile device. There's no cost. It's included with your membership. No cost to download that, and it's no cost to anybody that you share a link with as well, because they would be downloading it onto their mobile device as well. So let me go ahead and actually go into the app. And when I'm working with people, typically what happens is this is where they get to this point and then they don't know what to do from here forward, how to advance on. And what you want to do is you want to look for the silhouette in the top left corner. So when you look at that, just tap on that, and that'll bring you into the login page. It's the same credentials for your desktop. It's the same credentials for your rate watch. Once you go ahead and sign in, it's going to give you access to your dashboard. And this is what it looks like. Of course, here you are in the desktop version, your home screen. This is your dashboard. On your mobile device, this is what it's going to look like. So you can see the two versions. Now your partner area, this is where you're going to find your open house flyers. So you can go ahead and click on that, and that way you'll be able to access the information. One quick thing, though, that I do want to point out as well, for those of you that might have downloaded the app a while back, you want to make sure that you have the most recent version. So you might want to check and see if there's an update that would be required. And the reason that I want you to do that is if you take a look at the silhouette in the upper right-hand corner, if you click on that one now, that's going to give you the opportunity to do two things. If you take a look, you've got the camera and you've got the album prompt. And what that does for you is that if you have a video presentation that you've stored on your mobile device that you would like to add to one of your presentations, whether it's for a borrower or a realtor partner, that will give you the ability to do that. It's a relatively new feature, so if you haven't done so, I would highly encourage you to make sure that you have the most recent app downloaded, and then slide that button over, so that way if you do record a message that you would like to make, say a general message that will appeal to a larger group of people, not specific to a borrower, you'd be able to upload that into any type of presentation that you have. So with that, let me go ahead and go back to partner area, and I'll pull up the presentation that Lori just went through. So the open house flyer, and let's go ahead and view the report from the mobile device. Go ahead and click on I understand. Now if this is something that you would, like Lori is mentioning, if you want to share this directly from your mobile device, the beauty of having the app downloaded to your mobile device is that you don't have to be tied to being in the office. Maybe it's, it's a day off and you just happen to check your messages and you get a call from somebody needing something from Mortgage Coach, whether it's an open house flyer or a presentation. You can access it if you have that app downloaded and you don't have a laptop handy from your mobile phone. If you need to share something, if you take a look in the upper right hand corner, you can go ahead and click on share, and then you can send it off to somebody either via email or text. It's real simple to do. And if you look back, if we go back one step, well, let me go ahead and go through this. So it has the same content basically as the laptop or desktop. You go ahead and click on property features. You can see what's available for you there. And as Lori is mentioning, when you go in and you add those features in your desktop or your laptop version, you do have that custom area down at the bottom. Make sure that you're making use of that, because that's really going to talk about the features that make that house special in somebody's opinion. And then this is where your content is, with the different products that you'd want to go ahead and present. Now this is something that you could actually sit down with a realtor partner or even have them over the phone, and you can even use Edge Live and drive the presentation from your mobile device to their mobile device. So it's a really cool way of being able to work with your realtors and give them a wow, so that you're definitely differentiating yourself from what potentially other people that they may be working with, so that it gives you hopefully the leg up and being able to be a preferred lender for them. And let me just real quickly, I'm going to point out in that handout or in the chat area there, these handouts are available to you. So this is the getting started, and then here's the the video user guide. So do take a moment, make sure that, again, that you do download it so that you have access to it. These are the steps that I just walked you through on the mobile device, so it's going to reiterate in case you need some additional help and making sure that you do have the most recent up-to-date app on your mobile device. And one thing that I will go over as well, that perhaps you built this open house flyer and you actually plan on attending the open house with your realtor partner and potentially generating business that way. You can actually record a video from your mobile device. And let me give you an example of what one originator did, and then I'll go ahead and I'll show you how it can be done. So let me go ahead and click over here, and I'll go back into the report. This is a realtor that, or excuse me, an originator that is up in the Bay Area. He did the open house presentation, and then he went ahead and put a video to the presentation that he built. And I'll go ahead and I'll let you watch this here for a second.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope all is well and you're enjoying your Sunday. I'm over here at 229 Wimbledon Court in San Ramon, and I wanted to give you a quick virtual tour of this home. It's a 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath house. It's beautiful, as you can see in the background, and someone's holding it open today from 1 to 4. And what's great about this house is if you're renting for $3,000 a month or less, this home is easily within your price range. The analysis right behind you will show you how you can purchase this home, and your net payment will actually be less than your rent payment. So swing by today between 1 and 4 and take a look.
So you could probably see all he did was took out his iPhone, because he has downloaded the mobile app to his iPhone, got a selfie stick, and then just started walking around the house as he did the presentation. I'm going to go ahead and slide this to mute, and I'll replay the message there. Go ahead. And one thing that I wanted to point out is that he's doing two things. Okay, he's getting the message across about the presentation that he wants, because in that particular area, its rent is just ridiculous, and for what people are paying for rent, you could actually be a homeowner. But one of the things that would be really cool is if you take a look, the homeowner's got this really nice big screen in the background there. You could actually do a Chromecast with your presentation up on the homeowner's TV. Of course, you'd have to get permission from the homeowner, but you can imagine if you were sitting at the open house and you had this information up on a format that big, where people are going to have to notice what is going on up there, and then you can have the video recording playing, and there is a loop feature as well with the video, so that way as they cycle through the house, they don't have to catch the very beginning of the presentation. They could catch it in the middle and stay to where it loops back around, and that way they're not missing any of the content that you have. It's a great way for you to be able to get yourself out there in front of a large group of people. And as Lori was mentioning, once you have this this flyer there, you can hand it to people in a printed out version. You can go ahead and hit print, as she mentioned, and on the printout there's the actual link to this presentation as well. It'll appear about in the middle. It's right up in this area here. I don't know if you can see it, but the link to the presentation is there as well. So that way you can go ahead and provide that to people as a way of being able to remember the house, and then also, of course, remember you, because you're getting in front of them with your realtor partner. It's a co-branded report, and the more people that you get in front of and provide them with good content, the more opportunity for you to possibly earn business from them. So let me go ahead and go back real quick. Let's see, we got quite a few windows open here. Okay, so I was talking about adding a video. So let me walk you through how to do that, and with the handouts here again, how to record a video. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that, but I'm also going to give you, there's another handout here, and it talks about how to share it, but right here is what I wanted to point out to you is there's a checklist that we provide you with, so that way you can go over some of the important factors when you put together your first video. you want to make sure that your energy is up. I'm not going to go through each of these and read them off to you because it is, again, in the handout area. But it's a real helpful guide for you, so that way you can go ahead and use it as a checklist and make sure that you covered these points. You know, definitely thank your realtor partner. Make sure your energy's up. Try and keep it to the shorter side, so that way you're keeping people's attention. Typically, when you go past 2 minutes, it gets a little bit more difficult for people to keep their focus on this. But this is in the chat area. Make use of it. It's also in the help area under scripts in the Mortgage Coach Edge if you're not able to download the information. But let me go ahead and pull up my my video here, or my iPad, and I'm going to show you how to record a video. So I'm going to go back into my dashboard. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the partner. I'm going to click on the presentation that I want to add a video to, and it's the open house flyer. Now again, I could drive the presentation if I'm meeting with the realtor, or if I'm meeting with the realtor over the phone and I wanted to use Edge Live. I could do the live reporting here and drive the presentation from my mobile device to theirs. But say I get to the open house now and I want to record a video. I want to be able to show how beautiful the home is, or certain aspects of the home, while I'm giving my presentation. All you have to do is click on video, and it's going to ask me, because now if you've downloaded the most recent update, or the version of the application, you'll be able to use it either from your album or your camera. I'm going to go ahead and choose camera. It'll bring up my camera. Hey folks, good to see you. And go ahead and hit record. And if I wanted to walk around the house, as I mentioned, I can go ahead and flip the camera around, hit the retake, flip the camera around, and go ahead and show some of the features of the house. And that selfie stick would definitely come in handy as I'm walking around here. So it's real quick, it's real easy, and let me go ahead and go back. All you have to do is go to the report, click video, and it'll give you the option either through the album or your mobile device. So with that, we have about 12 minutes remaining in the call, and as I mentioned, it is a Q&A, Thursday Q&A, so if you have any questions at this point, now would be a good time to go ahead and address them. And it doesn't have to be about the content of what we covered today. It could be about anything in regards to mortgage coaching. And that's what I'd like you folks to do is, when you approach these webinars, don't hesitate to bring some questions with you, because we want to make sure that you're getting the support that you want and need to use it effectively. So anytime there's any type of a training class like this, where it's a one-on-one, the Tuesday coaching call with Dave would be a little bit more tough to ask some general questions, but any other ones, especially Thursdays, make sure you get those questions answered. And if you're busy working and it's not during business hours here at Mortgage Coach, remember we have the support staff that's available from 8 to 4 Pacific Standard Time, that you can go ahead and reach out to them, and they will typically get back to you in an hour or less. What you would do is just generate the link of the presentation that you're building, copy it, and then what you could do is drop it in an email at support@mortgagecoach.com, and they will be happy to get back to you, like I said, in an hour or less, 8 to 4 Pacific Standard Time, business hours. Okay, got a question in from Albert. Albert says, what is the seller buy-down option? Shows the seller paid points towards buying down the rate would benefit the borrower. Okay, now, and see, the beauty of the presentation that Lori just built is, with the flip of a switch, you could take this and turn it into a seller buy-down presentation. Let me go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go over to Select Report, and I'll change this presentation now to a seller buy-down to work with Albert in this question, and many of you might be curious about that as well. Now, when you do the seller buy-down, it's going to show one product. So what you're going to want to do is choose the product that's going to be the best option for what you're wishing to accomplish. So maybe I'll go with the 30-year here, switch it over to that, and then when I arrow over, it's going to bring up this particular page. Now, when you get to this particular area, what you're going to do is you're going to provide a decrease in the rate. And what's going to happen is the whole premise behind the seller buy down is that maybe you have a realtor partner that has a seller that has had to reduce the price of their home. Maybe it was just priced too high for the particular market that they're in, and maybe they've had to reduce it a second time, and the seller is getting very frustrated. So you, as a mortgage professional working with the realtor that's representing the seller, you could step in and provide the seller with a great option that they could go to, or the two of you could go to and present to the seller of the home. And what you would do is, rather than have them reduce the price of the home an additional time or reduce it by a substantial amount, you could do the seller buy down. So maybe the easiest way to present it would be to go ahead and show you what the presentation looks like here, and then I'll kind of explain it a little bit more. You go ahead and do the preview. And let me get rid of some of these other ones. Okay, so for the seller buy down, what you're doing in this first column, it was the product that I picked, which was the 30-year, and this would be the rate that might be applicable for the person to get without any type of contributions or without the seller reducing the price of the home. Now here, in this next column, you can take a look at the payment. Again, this is a very pricey home. Monthly payment's $14,000. In this particular example, let me go ahead and move over to the price reduction of that one. So if the seller reduced the price of the home by the cost to reduce the rate, now 0.25% for $5,000, it's not a huge reduction, but what happens is that with the rate, it's not a huge reduction in the monthly payments, only $24. But it gives you an idea of what the seller would have to reduce the price for. And let me move over to the next area over here. So with the rate reduction now, again, that was at 4.25%. Now if you reduce the rate from 4.25% to 4%, it would give the buyer a savings of $331. Okay, so the savings of a 0.25% rate reduction would give the buyer a $331 savings. In order to accomplish that same savings for the buyer, the seller would actually have to reduce the price down by almost $85,000. So what do you think the seller is going to be more likely to agree to? Let's reduce your house, or let's have you contribute $5,000 towards the buyer's cost to reduce the rate, or would you rather lose $85,000 to have the same payment option to the buyer? So that's in essence what the seller buy down is. Okay, good. I'm glad that you got it there, Albert. And the only thing that's really different when you go over here is in this particular page, when you get to the contact area and you arrow over, you do have to make sure that the information is input here. So again, this is the price of the credit, this is the traditional rate, this is the change in the rate, and this is the rate after the buy down. And then of course on the seller buy down report, the percent of income to qualify, you could either have that your front end ratio, your back end, or whatever you choose to as far as the percentage, because it will appear in your report. Let me just quickly show you where that's at. Price reduction, income to qualify, there it is. So it's right up in here. This might not have been the best of properties, because I mean it's just such a high cost home to do that demonstration too, but it is a good tool that you as a mortgage originator can help your realtor partner with if the seller is just sticking their feet in the ground and saying, I'm not reducing anymore. If I don't sell it, so what? So, okay, let me go ahead and get off this one. Let me go ahead and start answering some of these questions. Okay, Taffy had a question, and she said, problem refi TCA getting current loan hazard insurance to stick. Shows one entry in current loan assumption screen, different entry in preview. What I would suggest, Taffy, the best way that we could probably help you is that you could send the link, as I mentioned, to support at mortgagecoach.com, or if you want, I'll be happy to take a look at it myself and I'll have some time this afternoon. I'll be more than happy to do that for you if you'd like, because I think it's a little bit specific there. Problem, if I understand your question, Refi TSA getting current hazard insurance to stick. I'll have to take a look at your specific presentation there, Taffy. That's going to be the best way that we could help you. So don't be shy about sending that either to support@mortgagecoach.com, or you can send it to me, and it's Bryan@mortgagecoach.com. Bryan with a Y. I'll be happy to look at it for you. Okay, Albert, thanks for attending the training session. You're so welcome. Taffy, you're welcome, of course. Anytime you have a question, we'll be more than happy to help any of you folks, because we want you to feel confident about using Mortgage Coach. And quite honestly, folks, there is a lot of things that you could do with Mortgage Coach and how you can use it. So it's something that you're going to learn as you continually use it. You're going to see features. You're going to think about using it in different ways that you haven't, and your ability will start to grow, and you're going to start to see how you can use it in a variety of different ways the more that you use it, from just a basic level to a more and more advanced level. So I would encourage you to jump in there. You can't break the system, so get in there, click all the buttons, see how you can position yourself with the product. And to help you along with that, we do offer quite a bit of training. So you can register for our 101 series. You can register for the 102 series. Let me go ahead and click on the training that you can get. And as Lori mentioned, this is the support center. If you type in a topic in the support area, more than likely there's going to be a YouTube video on it or some questions already about it. So that way, you don't have to feel like you're an island. Take advantage of the resources that you have available to you. Don't get stuck on something and invest a lot of your time in trying to do something when we can reach out to you and help you and give you some ideas and how we can make it happen for you more quickly. That's what we're here for. It's part of your membership. It's not any extra cost to get that help. So let me go ahead and go into the month's calendar of events. And you have the Tuesday coaching calls with our CEO, Dave Savage. You have the Wednesday calls for the mobile conversations. The introduction, which is a great class. If you haven't built the TCA yet, I would definitely recommend attending the Monday class. And then the Thursday, the QA. And again, it is a QA, and I would encourage you, just because it doesn't say QA on any of these other classes, except for the Tuesday, because, Dave would probably not have the opportunity to get to too many questions in the time that he has, but any of the other courses, bring your additional questions to those that, we'll go through the content and you might have some questions about that, but it doesn't necessarily mean it has to stop there. Get your questions answered any way that you can. And then here is the Mortgage Coach University. You can sign up for the 101 and the 102 series, and here's a quick look at what the calendar looks like for the content that's covering. And we are going to be starting this series beginning next week. So Monday will be the very first session of that. So it looks like we're coming up on the hour here. It looks like we got through the questions that people had. I'll be happy to hang out here a few more moments and answer any questions that you do have. But I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules to learn how to use Mortgage Coach, and I wish you a lot of luck in doing it and a lot of success in using Mortgage Coach. So I'll be here for a few more moments, but otherwise, thanks so much for joining me, and have a successful afternoon and a great weekend. Thanks so much.